welcome to Oweleketv News. I am Confidence Oko. Thanks for joining us. Now the news headlines. NDDC applauds the Senate's plan to investigate 1 trillion spending. Nigeria becomes second highest country in maternal deaths worldwide, WHO says. Court's decision regarding NDC cannot stand. Information Ministry. And in sports, Lionel Messi is expected to play for Paris Saint-Germain against Ajaccio. Welcome back, and now the news in details. The National Industrial Court in Lagos has been requested by a few National Union of Road Transport Workers officers to dismiss Alhaji Tajuddin Baruwa, the union's national president. They appeared before Justice Maureen Esowe in a case that was brought by Mr. Adejare Kambi, their attorney. Chief Tajuddin Abedi, Alhaji Suleiman Ibrahim, Chief Ariyo Adetula, Alhaji Ademola Adeoye, Alhaji Akim Adeosun, and Chief Clement Adekola are the first through sixth claimants. First and second defendants are Baruwa and the NURTW. In their April 12th originating summons, the claimants are specifically asking for a declaration that, as of the dissolution of the Ogun State Council in 2020, the first defendant is no longer in office as the president of the second defendant. Kambi represented the claimants and Tolu Babaloye represented the defendants when the matter was called yesterday for the hearing of outstanding motions. The case has been adjourned until June 15th so that the trial can begin. Until the case is heard and decided, the court further ordered both sides to refrain from further conflict. The Niger Delta Development Commission applauded the Senate for its efforts to investigate the agency's account from 2021 to 2022 for 1.4 trillion naira in unauthorized expenditures. Ibitoria Belshede, the NDDC Director of Corporate Affairs, said the organization valued the concerns raised by the Senate during its plenary session. You recall that the Senate established an ad hoc committee at its meeting on Tuesday to investigate the financial operations of the NDDC for the budget projections for 2021 and 2022. In his words, the Senate only thinks that the funds were expended without approval or appropriation by the National Assembly. This misunderstanding can be quickly resolved by providing the necessary documents and explanations. The organization did, however, provide an explanation as to why there were delays in submitting its budgets and audited accounts to the National Assembly. In order to gain more details and clarification on the budget's numbers, the Senate also put off considering the NDDC's 2023 budget. In the statement, the NDDC stated that it recognized the Senate's oversight responsibilities and was prepared to cooperate with the investigating committee. We had a guest today, and our reporter Rachel Abiola spoke with him on various issues happening in Nigeria, ranging from the Presidential Elections Tribunal to the fuel subsidy removal issue and lots more.
We have Mr. Jide Ojo with us today. Jide Ojo is a public affairs analyst, a calling name, an author, and also the executive director of OJO Development Consult. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So we're going to be touching on quite a number of issues. As you both know, a lot is happening in Nigeria today. So to begin with, talking about the presidential elections and the tribunal issue, we've recalled that over 300 billion was spent on the presidential election. And now some political parties are asking for a rerun, which means if this request is granted, INEC may be using another maybe 305 billion, could be less than, could be more than, for the election. Now, what do you have to say about it?
For me, whatever anybody is saying about the 2023 general election, or particularly the presidential election, is premature. It's premature to the extent that the good parties have subscribed to election dispute resolution. They filed petition in court. And as you know, this week, from Monday 7th, from Monday this week, we've had the tribunal entertaining in a pre-hearing of the petitions of the presidential candidates who are contending the outcome of that election.
Thank you, Mr. Jude Ojo, for the mind-opening interview session there, and thanks to our reporter, Rachel Abuye. We'll be going on a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. According to the World Health Organization, among nations with a high rate of maternal mortality, Nigeria is now ranked second. Additionally, the nation has the highest rate of infant and child fatalities worldwide. The analysis singled out Pakistan, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ethiopia, Bangladesh, China, Indonesia, Afghanistan, and the United Republic of Tanzania as 8 additional nations with high rates of stillbirths, neonatal deaths, and maternal deaths. According to the WHO research titled the 2023 Progress Research, Nigeria accounts for 29% of the world's annual total of 290,000 maternal mortality cases and may not meet the SDG target by 2030. The COVID-19 pandemic was blamed for the rise, and the survey also showed that Nigeria fell to second place as more women continue to pass away from pregnancy-related complications in the previous 3 years. Growing poverty, deteriorating humanitarian situations, and insufficient funding plaguing nations worldwide are further concerns to be cautious about. The Federal High Court's ruling prohibiting the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation from firing errant broadcast stations is ill-conceived and dead on arrival due to legal encumbrances. This is according to Mr. Nelson Orji, Director of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture's Legal Division. The Federal High Court in Abuja had already ruled that NBC lacks the authority to fine broadcast stations. In response to the information, Mr. Nelson said that an Abuja-based Federal High Court had rendered a judgment to the contrary, holding that the NBC had the authority to impose sanctions on errant stations. In April 2022, Justice N.E. Maha issued a decision in a case brought by 7 organizations, including the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project against NBC. The provision of Section 2, subsection 1N of the NDDC Act 1992 was interpreted by Justice Maha in a certified true copy of the judgment that was made accessible to none. The Commission shall have the responsibility of determining and applying sanctions, including revocation of licenses of defaulting stations which do not operate in accordance with the Broadcast Code and in the public interest, the article reads. The Justice Maha relied on the clause and stated, the law is settled that a regulator imposing fines under its enabling statutes in the exercise of its powers could not have acted contrary to the Constitution. And now over to international news. On Wednesday night in New Hampshire, CNN hosted a town hall interview with the former Republican president of the United States, Donald Trump. He spoke about the 2020 election, his phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State, the January 6th violence, his treatment of records after leaving the White House, and many more. We bring you some highlights of his interview.
I'm inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very... And it'll be very early on. They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable and it was a beautiful day.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying.
Still on Donald Trump, having been found guilty of sexually assaulting and defaming writer Eugene Carroll, he has appealed the New York jury's decision. The former Elle magazine journalist sued him for slander and abuse last year. This was following the passage of the New York State Adult Survivors Act, which enabled sexual assault victims a one-year window to file lawsuits against their accused perpetrators decades after the alleged assaults may have taken place. Trump has strongly denied the accusations, calling Carroll a nut job and the lawsuit a scam. After the trial that lasted for several weeks, a jury of 9 members decided that Trump was guilty of sexual assault, but not rape. In addition, he was found responsible for defamation for labeling her claims a hoax. Trump's attorney, Joe Tacopina, reportedly stated in court documents that his client was contesting all adverse orders, rulings, decrees, decisions, opinions, memoranda, conclusions, or findings made by the presiding judge, in addition to the $5 million in damages that had been awarded against him, according to the NBC. Up next is sports news, but before we go there, we'll be going on a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. And in sports, after serving a suspension given by the club for traveling to Saudi Arabia without permission, Lionel Messi is expected to play for Paris Saint-Germain against Ajaccio on Saturday. The seven-time Ballon d'Or winner missed a training session to fulfill obligations in his capacity as a Saudi tourist ambassador, and he missed last weekend's victory in Troyes as a result. Later, the Argentine sent his regrets to the team and his teammates. He returned to PSG training on Monday, but sadly, his time at Parc des Princes is coming to an end. Following rival Cristiano Ronaldo to the Gulf states in record-breaking agreement, Messi appears ready to play in Saudi Arabia next season after 2 unimpressive seasons in France. And just before we go, we bring you entertainment tidbits. Hannah Plug, a content producer and social media influencer, has accused men of contributing to the growing popularity of Brazilian butt lifts among women. On a BTS reality podcast, she mentioned this. Men tend to like ladies with larger buttocks, hence many women get buttocks lifted, according to Hannah Plug. She claimed that even while some men publicly criticized women for having these operations, they continue to patronize them in private. BBL is a type of cosmetic surgery that produces larger, more aesthetically pleasing buttocks by transferring fat from other areas of the body to the buttocks. And that's it on Oweleketv News, but before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. NDDC applauds the Senate's plan to investigate $1 trillion spending. Nigeria becomes second highest country in maternal deaths worldwide, WHO says. Court's decision regarding NDC cannot stand, Information Ministry. And in sports, Lionel Messi is expected to play for Paris Saint-Germain against Ajaccio. Please subscribe and follow our YouTube channel if you haven't, and you can also follow our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter handles at Oweleketv, or go to our website on Oweleketv to catch up with all our news stories. Till I come your way next time, I am Confidence Oko. Thanks for watching.